Hello and welcome this evening to Equipping Women. I'm Tanya and I'm joined here by Heather Wilkes. Heather and Paul are members here at Buck Run and they have three precious little kids aged, let me get it right, I'll say 8 to 3, right?
Yes,
Okay,
8 to 3.
and so just in case they're going to be watching their mom,
Uh-huh.
you can give them a shout out. But
All
it's
right.
Parker, Sawyer, and Riley, and
Yes,
they're absolutely super social kids,
they are super
wonderful.
social kids.
So you want to say hey?
Yeah. Hey.
Because they will be impressed
They will
that their
love
mom. They'll
this.
think you're
Yeah,
such a
this is
rock star.
unusual for them.
Yeah. Well, Heather, if I were to give you a theme song or to have like a ringtone on my phone, that if you called, would it be? You know what it would be? It would be from Toy Story. You got a friend in me. I think. I
We
think.
listen to that song in our
Do-
home on our little Pandora station.
it is why I have asked you to join me here tonight, and we're going to be talking about life-giving friendships. And Heather and Paul came. How long have you guys been here?
We've been here for over 9 years now.
All
We
right.
came in 2011.
All right, and Heather is also our business assistant here. And the one thing that I noticed about you guys when you came to Buck Run is you didn't come simply looking for friends. You came looking to be a friend. And that, I mean, Herschel and I immediately noticed we were on the old campus, and I think you guys were even living close to it, right?
We lived almost directly across the street.
All right.
Yep.
Yes. Okay.
Yep.
So but I remembered immediately recognizing, like a lot of people join a church, a lot of people come into a community, and they're just wanting friendships and they're looking for friendships.
Yeah.
But there was something that was really unique about you and Paul that wasn't you weren't just coming in looking for friendships. Like I said, you were coming in to really be a friend to people.
Yeah.
And it was a whole sweet process with me.
Yes.
I've been a witness to you being a good friend to people. Herschel and I are recipients of you and Paul being good friends to us. So it is. I am really excited about this topic. I'm really excited about you doing this. And so let's just talk about this whole life-giving friendship thing. So let's talk about for a believer.
Yeah.
What is the purpose of friendship for a believer?
Yeah, so it's different for a believer, right? So when we think of friendship, we think of at least two people who live life together with something in common. And so for a believer, that thing in common is our faith in Christ. And so we're living life together, seeking to reflect the image of Christ as we grow, just doing life together.
Yeah, and I like it that the thing that's really unique and different that I see you guys do that make it work on many levels is these people that are in your life, they are not projects.
Right.
So when you say we do life together, you are legit doing life together. You're not
Right.
just seeing them as somebody who needs fixing, somebody who simply needs encouragement, and those things happen in
Yes.
friendships.
Absolutely.
But you don't see them. You see them as these are my people.
Yeah.
And they're not my
Yeah.
projects.
We just incorporate people into what we're already doing. Of course, there's some sacrifice, right? I mean,
Right.
to spend time with people, you might sacrifice something else that you would do, but we're trying to just do what we're already doing and just bring other people along.
So it sounds like, and let's talk a little bit about this so we can help people know. You show an intentionality in your friendship. You're known for being intentional in your friends. I witness you being intentional in your friendship. So let's just be real honest. Does
Yeah.
this come naturally to you?
I mean, I don't know that it comes super naturally to anybody, but I will say that we have been recipients of other people doing that to us, and so we're just more apt to work harder, to love on people, to be intentional, to check in with them, because it's already been done to us. That's the way, when you say that we came here and we sought to be friends, it's because we had just left a church where that had been done really well to us. And so, yeah, we moved here from Georgia, and as quickly as we could, we walked in the doors of Buck Run, and your kiddos, Seth and Candace, invited us immediately to a community group. And so we just started from day one.
Yeah. And so what you're saying, some of the things that, what would intentionality then in a friendship be? Would you define it as just, going along in life together, or how would you describe that
Yeah,
intentionality?
I don't think anybody will accidentally be a great friend to anybody. I think that we have to make the sacrifice of something else, whether it's time or ease or convenience, to spend time checking in on somebody, prayerfully considering who the Lord has put in our path, um, following up and being part of what's going on with somebody else. It's easy to check out.
It is.
It's really easy to just do your own thing. So, like I said, it doesn't accidentally happen.
No, no.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that's not accidental is you guys use your home. I
Yeah.
see that is part of the whole friendship process. First
Yeah.
of all, starting it and then keeping it. So I'm going to ask you a little bit. When did you guys do this well? By the way, you welcome people well into your home.
We love it.
Yeah, well, I can tell. I can tell you do. But so when did this become first of all, a priority for you?
Yeah.
And why have you been able to stay committed to it?
Mm.
Because, like I notice a lot of people are going, oh, yeah, I want to do that. And
Sure.
I want to use my home more. And they open up their home and then they're done with it pretty quickly. So
Yeah.
first of all, why is it a priority? And then how are you able to stay committed to that?
So, like I said, we had come from a church before we came to Buck Run where this had been done really well. There was a widowed lady at that church in, her 50s, midlife, and she had made it a priority to open her home and welcome in young married couples. And so it was huge. So we went to her house, and it's different when you're at somebody's house. We sat in a Sunday school class together, but once a week we spent an evening at her house. And that's where, our vulnerabilities showed. That's where we discussed what was going on, what our struggles were. We encouraged one another. So we had seen this done really well. We didn't have a lot of means, a lot of funds in the beginning of our marriage. So we joke that we started doing this as soon as we had the means to. And by that, I mean somewhere to sit and enough money to buy food for more than just the two of us.
Yeah.
You don't need a lot
No.
to have people over.
No.
You don't even necessarily need those things. But it's become a priority because we've seen the value of it. We've seen how people relax and open up in a home, and the fruit that comes from walking through our lives when we're doing it in a really open and transparent way.
Yeah, there's all the difference in the world between it's awesome being in a Sunday school class, it's awesome
Yeah.
being in the church building and being able to gather in those small group settings. But once somebody puts their bottom on your couch
Yep.
or their feet under your table,
They take their shoes off.
it's game
Yeah.
changer. It is absolutely
Yeah.
game changer.
Yeah. Well, and in the home is where they're seeing us live life. They're seeing what it looks like when we correct our kids. They see what it looks like when Paul and I disagree a little bit. They're seeing what it looks like when they showed up and my house was a little messy. How did I handle that? But I think we've been able to do it on a prolonged basis because we have family buy-in. Our kids have seen that this is important to us. We've taught them that when you clean your room, you prepare your room with a happy heart because you have friends coming over. There's not typically a drudgery in prepping our home for people to come over because they've seen what it's like.
Yeah, that's such a good word that and that's training them to have a heart of hospitality.
Yeah.
And like your kids, hey, this is enough reason to open up your home. It's going to get your kids a little happier cleaning up their
I know.
rooms. Because people they do like people in their homes.
Yes.
People like
Yeah.
to little kids really. I can't tell you how many people, like we did this thing where we visited around it to the different community groups, and I'll there were several people when we got there, if they had small kids. I would even say, like Sarah Johnson was one of them. I remember we went to Denise's house, and Sarah had just redone her bedroom,
And she wanted to show you.
and she was so proud to take her her friends into her room and
Yeah.
us, being able to see it. And
Yeah.
it, I, I didn't sense that she was bothered by the fact that people were in their house, but
Yes.
actually delighted
And it's
that,
not always that way. I will say
right.
that there have been times when the kids have said, I don't want to share this toy.
Oh,
This toy is
right.
special to me.
Right.
And there are, of course, there are some that
Right.
we say, we put that one in the closet
Right.
until friends leave.
Exactly.
But, that's where we teach stewardship, and that's where we
Mhm.
teach how to be others centered.
Mhm.
So it's a whole family affair. Even in, like I said, in prepping the house, it's not just mama sweating it out
Mhm.
most of the time
Right.
to
Right.
prepare.
I understand. Yeah. But Paul jumps in with
He
this
does.
too.
Yeah.
And he does it.
Absolutely.
Well, then, okay, so I don't know if we specifically answered this, but like why then is it good to use your home as leverage? Do you think it's simply because it peels back another layer
It does.
of
Yeah, that's where people
like an
see.
obstacle between?
Yeah, there are flaws that show in the home. We can sit in a classroom setting here in the church building, or in a work setting, or out on the street if it's your neighbor. But there's just something more transparent about being in the home, and we've seen that when people feel cozy and comfy,
Right.
they'll share parts of their lives with you that you wouldn't have peeled back
Right.
otherwise.
It's always been so amazing to me that our culture for decades now has presented itself in such a way that we want to present ourselves as hospitable,
Yeah.
but we don't use our homes.
Right.
And
We'll post the pictures.
well, that's
Right.
right. And so it's like me inviting you into my home via Instagram
Yeah.
or something, and it's not the same thing. But I remembered one time I'd spoken something about hospitality, and it had occurred to me that there are countless people who are filling their houses with fragrance and decorations and special dishes, special meals, special plates, everything. And the only people who ever see those, smell those,
Yeah.
experience those are the people in those walls.
Yeah.
And so, on some level, you're going to a lot in order to
That's-
get a small amount of payback, And
Right.
so, just even this week, we had a couple over. They were visiting, and and I'm going to talk a little bit about this, but this whole pandemic thing has really challenged it. And so we distanced. They came in, mask and everything. They were from out of town. But so I scooted my chairs away and my couch away and everything. And even in the awkwardness of that distance dance, there was something that was still closer
Yes.
than we could experience during
Right.
this time.
Absolutely.
And so, like we just went on and threw it all out there. Okay, this is weird.
Yeah.
This is the best we
Let's
can
just
do
enjoy
for
it
now.
anyway.
So let's just laugh
Yeah.
about it, and let's just you
Yeah.
start talking, you start just sharing your heart, they share their heart, and before you know it, things are it is the sweet thing. But pre-pandemic, man, just what is able to occur, the chemistry,
Right.
because you can't in a classroom you can strike up conversations.
Yeah, with the person next to you.
That's right.
We've even enjoyed in our home, we've enjoyed leveraging it to bring multiple families together. So that's something that's been really fun as we've seen, a new family come to visit the church. We've said, hey, let's have them over, and then let's maybe have this other family over too that we
Oh,
think
that's a great
that would
idea.
mesh well. And then
Right.
we're not the only point of contact.
Right.
So they show up another Sunday and they've got several friends that they've already made. That has been really nice. We've done that pretty often. And I will say a tip that all the credit for this goes to Paul. But early on, when we first bought our first home, he said, let's make a goal of having someone over at least once a week outside of community group time, because we were hosting a community group in the home at that time. And so for a season, and a pretty long season, we had somebody over most of the time at least once a week for dinner, like a good dinner. And we just kind of picked random people, Sometimes it was good friends, sometimes it was someone new. But yeah, I mean, it all changes in the home.
All
For
right,
sure.
so I know some people are hearing this, and you're talking about, first of all, you're talking about community groups, so you're doing this once a week, and then you're talking about also hosting somebody, a couple of family, whatever, in
Uh-huh.
your house once a week, and they're beginning to get stressed out
Sure.
because they're just thinking, oh no, that will so
Yeah.
complicate my life and everything. So let's talk about this. So, people are nervous about like, will my house,
Yeah.
I have to get my house clean enough. Um, is that a stressor for you? And if it's not, or does it dictate whether or not you invite people over?
Yeah,
If
I mean, it can be a stressor for sure.
Okay,
Uh, I'll just say, I am an average housekeeper at best. So, I don't want anybody to think that my house is always ready for someone to walk in. I will say, my mother in law, and my husband has shared this with me, that she said, we want our home to be the hub for you and your friends. And so we would like to have our house ready to be the place where people pop in, just ready for company. I strive for that, but I am not there. But we try to keep things to a point where we can quickly pick up and it not just completely ruin anybody's day to do it. But I mean, just like anybody else, it can be stressful. I will say we try to keep things simple. You know, nobody cares if they walk into a perfectly clean and
Right.
decorated home.
well, maybe they're intimidated even.
Yeah, yeah. In fact,
if
most
it's
people
at
would probably prefer your home not
Right,
be
that's
perfect when they
right,
walk
that's
in.
right.
People want to
Yeah.
feel at home. They don't
Right.
want to feel like they're less than something. So we keep things easy and cozy. Of course, we've had a home with little kids for a long time, so we don't have breakable things where people's kids would, feel nervous about breaking. But, we try to keep it really simple. But as far as whether that dictates, we try to never let that dictate whether we would have someone over. Understanding that there is a balance.
Right.
As important as it is to be hospitable, it's also important to keep peace in our home.
Right.
There's a boundary that we have to maintain, leaving margin for rest within our own family. So if it's been a week where we've been hopping somewhere every night and we haven't had a week where we've all been together, then that might not be the best week for it. So if we've got a kiddo who's just going through a rough
Right.
patch, that might not be the time to have 3 other families over for dinner.
Right.
But I think that there's a reasonable level of presentableness, whatever,
Right,
that
right.
you can maintain, and understand that most people just don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most people just don't care.
No.
So
I mean, we you live
we live there.
you live there,
Yeah.
right? And people expect
Yeah.
you to look like you live there.
Yeah. It's
And
almost embarrassing if it looks too perfect,
that's
right?
Exactly. Right.
Because
Yeah.
there really are just socks and shoes everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. It just happens.
Yeah.
You did. All right. So, let's talk now about those who don't. Let's help some people. Let's give some helpful tips now then
Okay.
on people who might not have figured out this whole flavor of how to pull this off, how to do that. Like, how do you have people over? How do you decide? Well, let's talk about first. How do you decide who to invite?
Who it is.
Who you invite?
Yeah. I mean, the simple answer is just somebody, anybody.
That's so good.
Just
so
just
good.
ask somebody.
Right.
But it can be for us. We spend a lot of time here at the church. I work here at the church. Most of our close friends are already here, so it makes sense to invite someone from your local church family. We've had coworkers over. Obviously, my coworkers are here, but
Right.
Paul's coworkers, we've had them over. That's been really fruitful. We've had neighbors. We moved this summer, and so we got the privilege of like starting over in a
Yeah,
new neighborhood,
right.
and that has been so fun. One of our neighbors has kiddos, and so it's been fun to say just pop in, let's
Right.
walk your dog,
Yeah.
And so it might be neighbors, it can be someone new that has started visiting the church, just somebody. We like to have singles over, singles from the church. There are a couple of people that come to mind over the years that we've really tried to invest in, not as a project, but we really love these
Yeah,
people,
they're your
and
people.
they seem to enjoy hanging out with us. And
Right.
so they get to see what life looks like on a daily basis for a family with several kids when that's not their everyday.
Right. Well, it's it really is what a family looks like, because you have
Yeah.
some people in your family who are married, some who have multiple kids, some
Right.
who are seniors, some are, I mean, it's what family is. You've
Yeah.
got all ages, stages,
Yeah.
everything in it. And so it is a beautiful thing. And it makes me really, really happy to hear you talking about having singles into your home. And, since it's been a really strange time right now,
Sure.
especially for singles, because like you and Paul can talk about and have
Right.
somebody sort of pull up your slack, and something as simple as like, hey, look at that, and you've got somebody who looks at it,
Right.
and so
Laughing alongside somebody.
that's
Or,
right.
yeah.
That's right. So,
Sure.
this pandemic isn't going to last forever. I'm pretty sure that there will come an end to it.
We hope.
And we hope.
Yeah.
God in his grace, I
Yeah.
pray will end this for us. But, so that's really good to keep in mind, that singles need to be part of your family, just like,
Yeah.
and part of your community and part of your friendships. And
Absolutely.
they don't have to have everything in common with you for you to really enjoy their friendship.
Right.
And,
Yeah, and
stuff.
our children benefit from that as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
They see that families might not be made up exactly the same way as our
Right.
family. That we do have friends who have never been married or were married, or
Or single
have
moms,
a grandparent,
or-
or
yep.
single mom, grandparents living with them. So it's important to see how to live out the gospel, as any demographic that we're going to see in our church body.
Right. Okay, well, now let's move from who to, like, what do you feed them? Do you ask them to bring a dish? What's
Yeah.
what's that look like?
Yeah. Most of the time when we would have, when we have somebody over. I
Okay,
mean,
for community group. Do you
for
feed-
community group, we did.
Okay.
We didn't always do it,
Okay.
and community groups will all do it different ways.
Right.
Some of them have like a taco night and
Okay.
everybody brings
All right.
something, or with ours,
I've
we
even heard
would
they
do.
did cereal night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that
I
was
would love a
clever.
cereal night.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
What's your favorite cereal?
Yeah. I like meat though.
What's your favorite cereal?
Me? I love Reese's cereal.
Really?
Yeah.
Unfrosted
Reese's.
mini
Reese's.
wheats, the little mini
Oh,
bites.
yeah.
I'm very particular about those.
Okay. Not the off-brand.
No, they have to be
There's not enough
full
frosting.
blown one.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go back to your friendships then. When you
Okay.
have friendships in your home for feeding, what do you do about that?
So Paul hunts and fishes a lot. So there's
Oh,
a joke that
yeah,
we just
right.
have a lot of meat. We just all, we're like,
That's
we'll
great.
cook the meat.
Uh-huh.
We do a lot of fish fries, things like that. But most people, if they offer to bring something, we'll absolutely take them up on it. People want to contribute something generally. Most people don't love coming over with nothing in hand. Even
Right.
me. You just
Right.
feel better if you're
Right.
like, I'm here, I brought this.
Right.
It might not be good.
Yeah.
But in fact, I think we were going over to your house for a staff party one time, and I made a bread that just totally flopped.
Oh,
And I'd made it umpteen
been there,
times,
done
but
that
I
one.
made this
Yeah.
bread, it flopped. I'm like, well, I'm here empty-handed, but I tried.
we still let you in.
Yeah, I'll try again one day. But, and if somebody doesn't offer, we absolutely don't care.
Yeah.
But food-wise, I mean, I will say, and Paul's better about this than I am, we like to do things that we can prep ahead so we're not sweating in the kitchen when people come over. So that when people come, we can just spend time with them. I'm not in there whipping up mashed potatoes or whatever. But everybody has their own thing that they like to do. Some people are just really gifted at hospitality, and that's the way they love on people, is by
Right.
making these amazing meals.
Right.
That's not me.
Yeah, it's not me.
You know,
either. Yeah.
but it is a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it's important to remember that when we have people over in our home to foster friendship in the Lord, it's not just entertainment, you know?
Yeah,
We're not
right.
just having you there to make you feel good and to have fun. I mean, there's really a common goal.
Yeah.
You know, there's sanctification that's happening as we chat, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you become sharpening
Yeah.
tools for each other.
Yeah, there's
And-
accountability there.
Oh,
There's, that's where we practice forgiveness. That's we're rejoicing. We're mourning with people sometimes when they're over.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so sweet. I mean, it really is just doing life together
Yeah.
and experiencing all the ups and downs and ins and outs of what that
Yeah.
looks like, and getting close to people as as you do that.
Yeah.
It's really sweet. When I'm one of those folks, like for when about the meal thing, is I have the same thing for like I call
For
it
everybody.
company.
It's your company meal.
It's my company meal.
What is it?
Well, it's chicken lasagna, and
Okay.
it's like a poppy strawberry seed salad.
Oh, yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
it's it's filling.
Yeah.
It feeds a lot of people.
Yeah.
I
You can make it
I
like
can make it
yeah.
just like that, and I can even freeze it ahead.
Okay.
And my poppy seeds, it's like fresh.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing that sort of gives you the color. And then a loaf of the Kroger bread that's the take and bake.
Okay.
And it's just
Yeah.
like
That's what I should have brought to your house that night.
You should. Next time.
Yeah.
This year. Let's hope we can
Yes.
do it. All right. So I just want to be such. I don't want to just give you undue praise, but I want you to understand of how much your and Paul's friendships for people have fleshed out in other people's lives, and it's been a blessing to them. It's been a blessing to the unity of our church. It's been sweet watching those people now implement those kinds of things in their life, and it really is contagious. Like
Yeah.
you said, thank the Lord for that Georgia church
Right.
and that precious widow
lady.
lady who just did something as simple as opening up her home, and
Which was not convenient for her.
Oh,
that was
no.
sacrificial.
right,
You know.
right. But man, her opening it up to you all has had this trickle down effect and just ripple effect into the hearts and lives of countless people. So somehow you can even trace it back to her. And I don't know if she's
right?
is she still living?
She is. Oh
All
yeah.
right, you say thank
I
you.
know.
If
Thank you, Miss Lynn.
she is.
She
I'm
is precious.
grateful for the people who have said, "I'm going to do this," and they don't
Yeah.
do it thinking of all that the fruit that yields. But boy, what it does do. And so I'm grateful that you took what she did, and you guys are doing it, and we get to see that flesh out. And I just see people being, I see friendships. I see you all. You posted a picture on Facebook, and it was when they were all like little.
Oh yeah. I
all
don't post much, but
no,
that
you do not.
I don't.
You do not.
I try
And
not. Yeah. But that picture was
Oh,
really precious.
It was like.
Especially now.
It is.
With
That's
school
right.
starting
So I
and-
wonder, how many years ago was that then?
So, the little ones, like my Sawyer, looked like he was maybe 18 months, 2 years old.
Okay.
So that would have been, 3.5, 4 years
Right.
ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I looked at that picture, and I just saw all of them, and I know that this is a friendship circle.
Yeah.
And so not only are their moms growing and going through life together, but these littles are. And I think I was just overhearing you guys talk about doing a Zoom, and the kids got in on the Zoom thing,
Yes,
and how
the kindergarten group did their first Zoom call last
which
night.
is
They are well
hilarious.
practiced though. They've
Oh,
got it
right, 'cause
down
that's what they've
already
been
from
doing.
school.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
it was impressive.
That's
The adults were lagging behind.
Okay.
How do
You
I
go
do
through
this?
that, yeah.
And they're like, you
You're
just,
right.
Mom.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm ashamed.
Yeah.
Same here. Well, thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for doing it. Let me close with this verse. 1 Peter 4, 8 through 10 says, above all, keep loving one another earnestly, since love covers a multitude of sins. Show hospitality to one another without grumbling. As each has received a gift, use it to serve one another. And you used this word, and I was really grateful you did, as good stewards of God's varied grace.
Yeah.
Man, I just want to steward well.
Yes, that was my word for the year.
Was it?
Yeah, I don't usually do that.
That's a good word.
I have it printed on a bracelet.
Yeah.
Steward. Yeah.
That's a great word. Fitting for you too, being.
I'm trying. By God's grace, we're trying. Yeah.
Well, I don't know what it's going to be looking like now. So now during this time of pandemic, we have to get creative.
We do.
And we send more emails, more texts, more phone calls. However you can touch base with people.
Yep.
Like I've even walked in a neighborhood with somebody.
Oh yeah. 6 feet apart, right?
6 feet apart, or we've masked up,
Yeah.
just because you just need relationships.
Yeah.
And you don't just need relationships that are distant ones. You need people that are true friends in
Right.
your life, especially during this
Right.
time, who are going to help us do this all well and
Mhm.
be good stewards. So thanks, Heather.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for joining us tonight, and I pray that the Lord will help you to be a good friend.